Hi everyone in English 1301. It's Dr. E and I'm here with your week 12 instructional video. So to get us started, let's address a few things. First, if you haven't, take a look at this updates note. Yeah, I think that says it all. So let's go ahead and move on. I'm going to jump to the content area. One thing I want to do before we hit our our weekly module, the week 12 module, is to hit on this D2L and Tech Help module because I know there have been some issues when it comes to downloading documents and successfully being able to do that. And I can only do so much. I only know so much when it comes to, some of you are using tablets, some of you are using PCs, Macs. So it's hard to diagnose the issue. And I think the best step is to just make sure that you know where to go when you need assistance, right? So the first step is going to be VLAC, and that is to just help with any and everything, but there's also a link to OTS, and this is where you can go to get copies of software that is free to you as students. It's where you can reach out to OTS directly for some assistance. So please make sure that if you're running into some of those technology issues, just like I've been, that you know where to go, where to ask for help, because we can troubleshoot as much as we can to help one another in the Q&A area or in emails or, in the various ways that we communicate. But it might just be the most help to reach out to the folks who know the most. So if you click on VLAC, that is just everything you need, right, as a student at Lone Star, not just in our course, right? So it's all this information that is about D2L and more. And then you can chat with the service desk to get some help with any kinds of technology issues. There's a librarian chat. I mean, it's everything that you need, kind of just easily accessed, right? So that's VLAC, and remember that you also can do some of your own kind of troubleshooting by visiting the OTS website. There is the student area, and that is where you can get software. That's where you can make sure you have everything needed for your email and Microsoft 365. How do I? It has all the links for kind of those most asked questions. So, just some steps to take so that we can make sure that you are able to kind of move forward successfully and not feeling rushed or panicked or, freaking out because something's not working, because I have been there. I've been there several times this semester, it feels like. So as long as you know kind of who to reach out to, right? Where to go for help with those problems, then I think that's the key. Excuse me, that's the key. I need to cough. Let me pause. Okay, everyone, it looks like I lost sound, so I'm jumping back in and we're going back to our week 12 module to take a look at what we're doing this week. So we're reading a chapter on finding sources online at the library in the field, and this is so that we can take what we learned this week, add it to what we, did last week in terms of evaluating sources, and work on finding our own. So instead of me going out and finding another source or a TED Talk, I want you to do some of that work. So you can find something that maybe interests you, you can investigate a little bit and find a source that you will then complete that similar kind of worksheet over to evaluate, okay, is this source that I found reliable? Is it something useful? So you'll go through and judge it in the same way that you did with Lee's work. Um, it's just more, in terms of with academic writing, a lot of times you have to find your own sources. So this is just giving us a little bit of a taste of that kind of process and how to go about doing that in an ethical way, in a way that helps us find those sources that are reliable, etc. So it can be a video, a podcast, article, anything that you'd like, as long as it pertains to food, as part of our overall general theme for the course. There's no telling what I could still be talking about. Okay, last day to withdraw is the 10th. So if this is something on your mind for another course, make sure that you're in touch with your professors about this. Hopefully you're not considering it for our course, but sometimes a W in a course is just the best route considering what you might be going through in a semester. But you don't want to do that without touching base with your professor just to make sure that it is the best choice so that you're not, looking back and wishing you could have done more, you could have tried more, that kind of thing. So just make sure you're having those conversations. Okay, you're watching the instructional video. I also want you to watch the food journal collection video. It is not due this week. I will say this and people will still freak out. The food journal collection is not due this week. We are still reflecting on our writing because I wasn't able to get everything, ready for everybody to complete that writing reflection. I extended the deadline, but I want us to watch that food journal collection video to kind of see where we are headed with, why are we reflecting on this journal? Okay, we're going to add to this journal again. What's our ultimate goal? And that is the food journal collection. So this video just walks through the different requirements and the guidelines for that so that you can kind of start planning for it. You can see again where we're headed in the next couple of weeks. Okay, let's see where we're headed now. Who knows what I could still be talking about? I'm just going to say right now that the random word choice for this week's quiz is chocolate eggs. Thinking about discount candy today. Okay, so that worksheet is going to be due on Thursday. That's related to the source that you find. And then we have our quiz. So, this is nothing new aside from adding an element to evaluating your source. So again, it looks very similar to what we completed in terms of watching Jennifer Rate Lee's video and completing that work on evaluating sources. Now it's just about finding your own. So I went through, I think that's the part that still remains, the whole spiel about if you're having difficulty accessing or downloading anything from our course, to make sure you're reaching out to the people who can help with that. I would also suggest you make sure that your browser is allowing you to download, right? And that you don't have anything in place that is stopping those downloads, because that may be a source of the problem as well. And so I'm pulling up the example of the worksheet right now. I'm downloading it. And so this is what it looks like. It looks very similar to what we did last week with Jennifer A. Lee's work, but you're completing it with the source that you find related to food. I know I'm probably being repetitive here, but it's also can't remember what I said at the beginning of the video, even though I rewatched it. Okay, so going back to week 12, in addition to your worksheet, there's also the writing reflection. If you haven't completed that, many of you have, make sure you're looking at that feedback, which everybody should be visible by end of day Monday for the most part. And then you have that week 12 quiz. Okay. So I think I'm probably just talking about the extended deadline and the fact that there were some technical issues, frustrations. So that's been extended for the writing reflection. I'm not saying anything now. This we haven't lost sound again. This is just me wondering what I could be still talking about. Oh goodness. Okay, so the writing reflection has that extended deadline, and then you have that participation quiz, and I've told you the random term or random phrase that's associated with the participation quiz. So as always, jump on that Q&A discussion board. I appreciate y'all for helping one another out there, or you can send me an email if you have any questions. But just, kind of keep me posted. Let me know what you need this week in order to move forward and feel successful in the course. All right, y'all, take care. Good luck.